The CBSE's two exam scheme overcomplicates things. The article is taken from the newspaper The Hindu, which is talking about the two exam scheme proposed by CBSE, and in this topic we will be discussing what is the scheme and what are the concerns or challenges associated with this, and next we will also see how it is aligning with the national education policy of 2020. So the two examination scheme, and this can be expected. This is an education related topic, so you can expect that is in Indian society in GS1 or also in GS paper 2. The draft scheme for the two examination, it is released by the CBSE, that is Central Board of Secondary Education. And what is this scheme? Two exam sessions, that means from 2026 onwards the 10th students can write two board exams. The first phase will be held in February, March, and the second phase will be held in May. And the students who wrote in the first phase, if they are not satisfied with the performance in the exam, then they can reappear for the exam in the May, and the best score from the exam will be considered for the further admission. So what is the objective of this scheme? It is the objective is to reduce stress and pressure on the students, and also to promote the conceptual learning in the students. And the CBSE is claiming that it is aligning with the 2020 national education policy goals. So here we have to understand what is meant by this National Education Policy 2020. So in 1980s, during the time of Rajiv Gandhi tenure, there was a national education policy which aimed to modernize the education system. And the National Education Policy 2020, it is further planning to enhance and transform the education system in India. So how it is going to transform the Indian education system? First, it is transforming the structure. It is changing the structure of the current education system from 10+2 to 5+3+3+4. And the next is competency based board examination, rather than giving importance to writing, too much importance to writing and memorizing things. And the next is importance to the mother tongue. That means up to the 5th grade the instruction will be in mother tongue. But here the psychologists and the doctors raised concern that is the best time to teach something to someone is before the age of 10. So if you are providing the English education after 5th grade, means after the age of 10, means it is raising concerns about the students' English ability to understand the English and develop the language. And we know that English is the gateway or window to the world knowledge. We know that. And the next is focus on vocational education from class 6. And the next is shift to concept and reducing the pattern of memorizing the things and pasting it in the answer sheet. And here you can see that the CBSE's two examination scheme is giving more importance to the conceptual learning rather than memorizing the concepts. So what are the challenges in it? The first is logistical challenges. That is, according to the estimation, that in 2026 at least an average of 26.6 lakh students are expected to write the class 10 board exams. And if you are going with the two exam scheme, then it will exceed the answer sheet above 1 crore and 72 lakh, and which requires a massive evaluation infrastructure. We need a very good manpower, and also it is time consuming. And ensuring uniform grading across multiple exams is very difficult, and overlapping with the class 10th examination. That means at least 20 lakh students will appear for the class 12th examination, and this adds administrative burden too. And the next is lack of clarity about the question paper design. So the CBSE is currently claiming that they are changing the pattern to make the students to understand the concept in a much better way. But it needs a redesign in the question paper pattern. How they are going to redesign this question paper pattern, that is still uncertain and unclear. Therefore, this type of unclarity or this type of uncertainty makes more creates more pressure on the students, and they have to go for coaching, and that will bring more both psychological stress as well as financial stress on the students, especially the students from the marginalized communities or from the backward communities. And the next is impact on students and schools. That is, instead of reducing stress, students may face continuous examination pressure. And this is because of the limited time between the first phase and the second phase of the two exams. For example, the first phase of the exam will be over by February or March, and the second phase will be starting in May. So the time gap is very limited. So here, instead of understanding the concepts, the students there's a possibility that the students will go for memorizing the concepts, and again it is not aligning with it is not fulfilling the objectives of the two examination scheme or the national education policy of 2020. And for that, this problem can be resolved if we can provide a proper remedial classes for the students in the gap between the first phase and the second phase. And another major issue is the delay in the admission to the 11th standard. For example, if the students are reappearing for the examination in the May, then the result will delay, and the students have to wait for a very long time to get admission to the 11th standard. And the next major issue is the financial burden and equity concern, that is the mandatory non-refundable examination fee. That is, once this scheme is introduced, once the scheme is implemented, then there will be an enhanced examination fee, and that covers both the first phase and the second phase. What if the student is not appearing for the second phase? Then it is bringing additional financial burden to the students, and especially the students from the marginalized communities. And at the same time, therefore, you can see the coaching institutes will exploit the situation, and this will further widens the education inequality in India, and that is also against the NEP's principle. And what can be done? And the next is revise exam fee structure to ensure financial fairness. We know that the exam, there will be an enhanced fees, and that is not refundable, and therefore we have to reconsider the exam fee structure. And the next is conduct phased implementation with the pilot testing in diverse schools. So instead of going for a broad implementation, you have to start testing programs. Then only you can go for the broader scheme, because then only you can understand about the concerns, challenges, and other issues present in the two examination scheme. So in this topic, we discussed the two examination scheme proposed by the Central Board of Secondary Education, and what are the challenges in it, and how it is aligning with the NEP 2020, and what are the provisions that is going contradict with the NEP 2020 policy. So based on our discussion, try to answer this mains practice question. The question is, the CBSE's proposed two exam scheme aims to reduce student stress and enhance conceptual learning. However, it may inadvertently increase logistical challenges, financial burden, and reinforce rote learning. Critically analyze the implication of this reform in the context of the National Education Policy 2020, and it is a 15 marks question, and you have to write around 250 words. Write the answer and post it in the comment section. We will review and we will reply for your answer.